Well, we're going to jump into the land of Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, ONIC Esports need one more game to secure the upper bracket slot. The first upper bracket slot will be here for ONIC Esports if they're able to win. BTR, they need to force a third game if they want to still go and make it competitive in the bottom of the standings.
And talking about forced, you can see Marky opted for the Purify spell because of how much CC is in the composition of ONIC Esports, and that actually might be a problem later on.
Well, there you go. A little bit of a contest already early on. Lethal Wanderer secured by Kyrie. And for Max, he is going to have a tougher time in his jungle up against the Karina in terms of wave clear.
The clear difference is going to be the main issue here because Kyrie, well, they both have the Demon Slayer, but in that mid side, that's key almost getting pulled back. The combo between the Atlas and the Fire Mist is going to be so scary to deal with later on. In the top side, though, we can see that with the Inspire, CW was able to make a play and get a bit of an advantage against Marky here, who's already used the Purify as well.
Ooh, he has to be careful, though. Already some setups coming in from ONIC Esports, trying to disrupt Max's farming pattern as well, and it's starting to show, perhaps. We'll see what happens as it is still 20 seconds to the Lord. Both teams have a lot of time to set up as the emphasis right now is in that top side.
With the Cho in the EXP lane, it really feels like it's like a throwback situation here because we've seen that, we can see that, you know, the Cho, Boots on the Cho will be able to be so proactive in trying to go for those big flanks.
Yeah, you can see as well in that top side, right? CW knows the risk of getting ganked in the gold lane. He knows that he is the losing lane currently for ONIC Esports, so he needs to play it very safe. Meanwhile, down below, Moreno has the Black Shoes, gets the level up in time with the Black Shoes able to back away for now, but Boots jumps in with the help of Kyrie to pick up first blood. Numna Blast connecting all the three members, but the damage isn't enough, and Boots is able to use the Way the Dragon Flicker to bring Chorizo under the turret. Keyboy gets the Fatal Links onto Key. No Flicker available. A solo kill up top, but BTR lose 3 members in the second minute of the game.
And we can see here the talents prediction by Axe. Also very different, though. I changed into ONIC. I think they have more things to play around with, like you can see on screen.
Thinking about that, though, they tried different things, but ONIC Esports are still on top right now. And that crowd control difference, man, they completely abuse it in the bottom lane. Again and again, BIGETRON Alpha tries to maneuver around a particular crowd control, but ONIC Esports comes back with another one. So right now, when it comes to those skirmishes, ONIC Esports for sure have the advantage. I think BIGETRON needed to try and match ONIC Esports with that damage output, the same way ONIC did in game number 1.
Oh, CW needs to be careful though. Keyboy jumps in as well. Purify is ready there. He goes in for Fatal Lanes. Demon Blast popped in. Keyboy gonna be stunned up there as Marky is able to get out with the Purify. Dreon caught, still able to flicker out. BTR and ONIC Esports both disengage, but BTR are able to win out in the top side skirmish. Meanwhile, Purple Buff contest for Max, going for the retry battle against Kyrie. And it is Max who actually wins out the retry battle because Kyrie was on cooldown.
Exactly. And now with that advantage, BIGETRON, they are pressuring the gold lane immensely right here. Marky almost taking down that turret, and the fight seems to be breaking out a bit. But of course, with the Purifies, they have ways, methods to outplay Keyboy's engage. So he needs to be a bit more unexpected, unpredictable with that Fatal Links.
They need to be thinking about this really well, right? I agree with you. Because of how BIGETRON Alpha have a lot of good disengages, they need to look for a way to perhaps bait the Purifies from coming down. Because from the side of ONIC Esports, they have a lot of CC. And when we're talking about CC, Keyboy actually gets taken down in a 4v1 situation.
That's unfortunate for him, man. We know this again and again. If the engage is too scary for you, maybe we can burst down the engage tool. So BIGETRON Alpha goes with the obvious counter. They take Keyboy out of the equation right here, and they have a bit of control, and they are so dominant in that gold lane. So CW is in a bit of trouble. But of course, in that late game, he will have the opportunity to try and make those big outplays happen. Now with the turtle spawning, though, ONIC Esports, they're a bit on the back foot because 5 members of BIGETRON Alpha already ready for a fight.
Oh, Marky very aggressive onto the back line of ONIC Esports currently, as they are going to be able to zone ONIC Esports away. BTR picking up the second turtle of the game and building their gold lead now. All, again, because of Marky's lane. He was the winning side and BTR were playing around it. Keyboy goes in for a perfect match, not really able to find anyone, and BTR are just forcing the take onto the tier 1 turret, getting it, and again, pushing themselves even further in terms of that gold lead.
You can feel it actually start to build in terms of that map control as well. ONIC Esports, they need to wait for that one beautiful moment by Keyboy to be able to turn this back around. And this can happen, right? Because both teams are starting to group up as 5, looking for the neutral objective control. And that might just be what exactly he needs. But once again, Key does still have that disengage potential with his Numenon Blast. So it comes back down to the timing from both of these teams.
I think that Numenon Blast counter-engage is a huge threat for ONIC Esports because right now, it seems like in pure skirmishes, BIGETRON Alpha definitely have the advantage and ONIC Esports require a combo, some kind of like AoE perfect timing situation to try and get an advantage. Kyrie, as we can see from the item builds here, going for a tank build as well. So in the mid game, there's going to be a lot more power on the side of ONIC Esports, but of course, BIGETRON Alpha with an Erythal, with a Lilia and an Esmeralda, their mid game isn't that bad either.
Pretty solid again. In terms of the itemization as well, right? I like how Kyrie is building. He's going for just magic defense purely because he knows that he can soak in that physical damage from his first ability. Max, though, securing the Berserker's Fury with the Windtalker. CW isn't a lot of threat in these team fights now. He doesn't have the Wind of Nature yet. And for Max, it's going to be so easy to burst them down. Bottom side, though, Boots not going to be able to actually defend this turret. It's another turret take for BTR.
Yeah, but remember, ONIC Esports, they're used to be put in a position where they're behind, right? It only takes one moment, one mistake from BIGETRON Alpha for this to turn back around. So for BIGETRON Alpha, they need to keep it this way. They need to stay disciplined, stay on that pressure, as now it's gonna be the contest for the next turtle.
Falling Star Moon used, Sorizo zoning Kyrie away as Max goes in, but look at that! Max still able to find the Retribution onto the turtle, securing the third and final turtle for BIGETRON Alpha. 2-1 in terms of that neutral objective right now. BTR still grasping onto that gold lead.
Still maintaining a healthy lead, 3K right now. ONIC Esports are still trying to find ways to try and catch up, but overall, BIGETRON Alpha, they're just way too scary. You can see that anyone who mispositions, there's just so much damage available for BIGETRON Alpha to punish with, and that is the main difference. They're playing how ONIC is playing in game number 1, and that will be Keyboy taking out yet again the battle for vision and control. BIGETRON Alpha is ruthless.
I mean, it's difficult, right? Because that's exactly what Keyboy was meant to do. He's meant to go and look and open vision for his team as well as look for moments. But every time he does that, he instantly gets punished by the damage coming in from BIGETRON Alpha. And this is Marky on a Purify, not on the battle spell like CW.
Right. So later on when the fights get more sporadic, when there's more priority in taking out that gold lane, Marky will have an advantage over CW just because he has an extra get out of jail free card. For now though, consider damage dealt by X, Marky just unforgivingly dashing out again and again a lot of damage. And Sorizo not far behind as the Numenon Blast gets charged up. And you can see here, fight is not gonna begin, I think.
Yeah, they're using that contest actually to convert and to translate over to an objective up top, where Marky has just been farming up a storm. 1 level lead against CW. I'm very curious to see just the individual lead that Marky has on CW on this Erythal, because the later the game goes, it's going to be tougher for ONIC Esports to actually look for the play onto the Erythal. That Purify adds so much appeal for himself.
I think damage output is just going to be so solid as well, and we haven't seen a lot of crazy cult altar plays coming in from ONIC Esports, so it's a very difficult situation, but they are preparing a trap here. It might just pay out.
Marky, gotta be careful, has the Purify, but look at it collapse right now. Keyboy jumps in with the Fatal Lace. Marky's still able to fade out. He's able to dash away. Kyrie goes in under the turret, finding the kill, but in the end, he will lose out on his life. The shot called by ONIC to jump onto Marky ends up with 4 members getting taken down. BTR instantly convert onto the Lord, and it's a disaster for ONIC Esports.
Weird collapse by ONIC Esports. They know that Marky is still going to be able to maneuver around that, and the counter engage once again from Key was the main reason, because they couldn't have followed up onto anything after that happened. 4-0 trade. A Lord already in the hands of BIGETRON Alpha, and now a 6,000 gold lead as we're going to go into the instant replay presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series.
Everyone going at the same time towards Marky, and finally, Kyrie is able to take him out. But with that Purify, he's able to just buy so much time. And fighting under the tower when you're at a gold disadvantage against BIGETRON Alpha, who has a lot of DPS, a lot of AoE as well. Not the right call. They trade 1 for 4 right there. That is very unfortunate. But you can see that ONIC Esports are just trying things out. We cannot win team fights. Let's try and make sure that Marky gets taken out. It didn't pay off, but it shows that ONIC Esports, they're still, I don't know, trying to find a solution that works here, that can solve the problem they're facing, which is BIGETRON Alpha and the insane amount of damage output they have in that composition.
How many times are they going to be able to do that, though? Because at this rate, already 8,000 gold difference. It might be too difficult for ONIC Esports to turn this back around. The Lord already marching in that top side. BIGETRON Alpha has really good siege potential, and we'll see the defense coming in from ONIC Esports.
Numenon Blast already popped in. Kyrie gonna be caught in the Numenon Blast. Still though, no more damage to follow it up. Base turrets taken low in the top side, but not much more. ONIC Esports still able to defend for now. First Lord value still very, very good for BTR, as they are able to wipe the tier 2 turrets entirely from every single lane.
They're in a tough spot because now they lack the pickoff potential because both Moreno and Marky have the Purify. So it's just a very smart decision to go with that. It's a very clear counter to the Atlas. And without the possibility to pick them up, if they go for a front-to-back situation, they don't have the damage potential to try and deal with it. Because Marky and Moreno, they both essentially do AoE as well. And it's 2 different types of damage on the side of ONIC Esports. Essentially, their main DPS tool is CW. There's not really a lot of magical DPS coming in, so they don't win in the short burst. They don't win in the prolonged, drawn-out fights either. So ONIC Esports have no answer right now.
On screen, we saw Max on the lane, and currently he's actually 2 levels above Kyrie, so not a great place for Kyrie right now. As BIGETRON Alpha once again with the map control, just really destroying ONIC Esports at this point, right? Because if they're relying heavily on the pickup potential coming in from Kyrie, we see time and time again that Numenon Blast being a really huge stone in his way.
You hear the sheesh coming in from the audience here. Great use of emotes. Get your emotes as well in the shop right now for a limited time. But you can see that Marky is finishing up his final item here only at 12 minutes, well, 2.5 minutes, as well as Max. So it's going to be more and more difficult. But of course, once BIGETRON Alpha max out on the item difference, on the gold difference, ONIC Esports has a chance to try and catch up. But of course, BIGETRON, I think, has different plans in store for ONIC Esports.
No, for sure. You know, BTR are right now manipulating the waves pretty well, right? To set up for the objective take. With Kyrie being 1 level down, he is going to be put in a disadvantage in the retry battles up against Max. But it's all going to come down to, again, setup. ONIC Esports needs to find a way for Kyrie to actually enter into that Lord Pit. Because if this continues to happen here, the zoning, no, Kyrie's going to be caught by the Falling Star. Now Blast as well popped in. He not going to be using the Flicker just yet. Cult Ulcer placed in. ONIC Esports lose out on a very, very important resource right before the fight even happens here. Concealed play pops in once again. Fatal links on the 3 members of Moreno is able to bop away with the black shoes. The damage comes through once again. CW, the crossbow tank, deals no damage. Falling Star Moon comes over, picking up a double kill. Boots is able to find the way the dragon onto Marky, but a key comes in with a stun. Boots taken low. BTR lose Max, but it's done. They are able to get a 3-for-1.
At least they're able to buy some time for ONIC Esports as well before being able to get that Lord. It's so difficult, right? So 5v5, ONIC Esports, they're going to lose out on the trade. So what exactly can they do here, Rashi? How can they win this? Do they split up? Do they just continue with this 5v5, or do they try and look for trade?
They go for the same exact thing because right now Marky and Moreno do not have the Purify. Unfortunately for them, BIGETRON Alpha, they know that. They want to make sure that this Lord gets taken out right here, right now. He delays everyone, and without 5 members available, BIGETRON Alpha will be able to take that Lord and back away. There is still a small window here where ONIC Esports can try and take advantage of the Purifies being on cooldown. But of course, BIGETRON will wait for those battle spells to be up again before going for the next fight. So it's just so difficult, man. The Purify is literally what is shutting down ONIC Esports right now, because when you have an advantage, it's all about ONIC Esports trying to force BIGETRON Alpha into mistakes, right? But with the Purify, it just denies the possibility of them to do so.
Did you guys notice something?
What?
Literally no towers from BIGETRON has fallen in this game.
Perfect game so far.
Wow.
And that just shows, again, right? BTR, they're definitely still in this to win it. Even though they were dominated in game number 1, BTR are looking for a comeback victory here. Maybe possibly reverse sweeping. Whoa, Max jumps in there, picking up the base turret as it was very, very low. Now BTR look towards the mid lane. Boots able to zone for now. Now Numinal Blast comes in though. He has the flicker. He doesn't pop it just yet. Cold Ulcer placed in. Drian able to bring Marky back onto the team, but the Cold Ulcer was popped in. Boots in the midst of it all goes in for Jikundo. The Fatal Link's connecting onto 3 members, but Max is able to dash away with his Defiant Blade.
Power.
They go for the base and they force a 3rd game in this series up against number 1 in the standings. The team that we thought was unbeatable have been taken to the 3rd game.
It's all about adjustments here at this point of MPL ID Season 10. And the adjustment coming in from BIGETRON, those 2 Purifies on the 2 core members from BIGETRON really